More counties are under a high risk for flooding on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Flash flooding, downed trees, and power outages are all possible. New model data shows the timing of the downpours and what your town can expect.
Bracing for more flooding. Soaked communities cleaning up from this weekend's storms, now preparing for yet another round of rain. The storm clouds are gathering. Our meteorologists are tracking every development, and our crews are in place to keep your family safe. WRAL is everywhere you need us right now at 7 o'clock.
And let's talk about this WRAL Weather Alert Day, because another severe thunderstorm warning has just popped up. This one for Durham, Chapel Hill, Person County, and Chatham County, the same areas that were, in fact, hit hard over the weekend. Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. Let's take a live look at the radar so you can see the system right now moving our way tonight. Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Severe Weather Center with the details. Kat.
And the 5 counties hit hardest this past weekend are all under severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Unfortunately, the forecast is going to plan with heavy rain. We have reports of wind damage for areas to our west in the Triad, and flash flood warnings are also popping up closer to the Triad. I do expect flash flood warnings to be issued in our area tonight. That's why it's critical you have a way to receive alerts on your phone. Here's that brand new severe thunderstorm warning that just came in. This includes Durham, all of Orange County, Person County, Hyco Lake, already seeing torrential rain. This is one of the areas that dealt with pretty significant flooding over the weekend. The severe thunderstorm warning, including the threat for damaging wind gusts until 8 p.m. And Moore County, you remain under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 p.m. Torrential rain moving in from the west right now. Also a lot of thunder and lightning with that threat of 60-mile-per-hour winds. Moore County, the rain's just moving in, but the National Weather Service has already put you under a flood advisory that will go until 10 o'clock tonight. A flood watch remains in effect for our western counties. I do still anticipate the worst of the weather to be on the west side of Raleigh, but I do still think we'll see some impacts around Wake County. Looking ahead tonight, this line of thunderstorms will continue to very slowly move to the east. It's going to be slow moving, dropping a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and some strong wind gusts. Even overnight, we'll have that potential for these storms to linger through tomorrow morning. There could be some rain for the morning commute, so you'll want to check in on our morning newscast before you leave the house. Tomorrow is another WRAL Weather Alert Day, and I'll break down the differences coming up.
All right, we're going to get to Kat in just a moment. Back to our weather coverage as well in a minute, but we do want to check in on some breaking news right now in the Live Center. This is an Amber Alert that's been issued for a 13-year-old last seen in Raleigh.
That's right, Dan. We got this about an hour ago, and we got a lot of new details in the past hour. First of all, take a close look at your TV right now. This is Valeria Gonzalez Hernandez, reported missing from her home in Mount Airy back on June 25th. And apparently, at the time, it did not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert, but working with the FBI and the SBI, the Surrey County Sheriff's Office says that it has led to some new evidence, which now has escalated it into Amber Alert territory. Now, she was last seen June 25th, that same day, at the Greyhound station on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh, and this appears to be a surveillance picture from that day where she's wearing black pants, a black shirt, white sneakers, and carrying 2 bags. She's 13 years old. She's 4 foot 11 inches tall, and she weighs 180 pounds. If you have any information, contact 911.
All right, let's hope somebody can find her quickly tonight, Brian. Thank you. Let's get back to our weather coverage now. After flooding over the weekend, many communities are now bracing for another round of storms tonight. The timing could not be worse. In Person County, crews are working to clean up some debris and lost boats, frankly, from Hyco Lake. WRL's Eric Miller joining us live now from that area. And boy, Eric, the rain is already coming down there, isn't it?
Dan, it is. This is deja vu all over again. We're taking shelter right now at the Person Caswell Lake Authority building. But you look out there right now, torrential rain and wind that's been coming down for nearly half an hour at this point. As we pan over here to the roadway, you get a sense of just how much water has fallen already, enough to put more than an inch deep in places. You see there where it's rushing across the roadway, rushing down through the drainage ditches, just trying to get down to the lake, which is still at an elevated level, even though the floodwaters from Chantal have started to go down. Then as you look off into the distance there, you can see some of the more than 200 boats that have been salvaged from those Chantal floodwaters. These were boats that broke away or floated away from houses here around Hyco Lake. Today, it was a race against time. People trying to go out, salvage these boats, get them back as quickly as they could before this weather arrived. And with this weather coming in now, those rescue efforts have stopped for the day. Still, the folks with the Person-Caswell Lake Authority, they do have a message for any tourists for the next several days. They're asking people to stay away.
Correct, yeah. Stay away from the lake. No recreational activities going on right now. No fishing, skiing, that kind of thing. So, yeah, trying to get it cleaned up first of all.
Yeah, certainly a lot of hazards still out there on the lake, and that's before whatever washes in there with this storm happens this afternoon. We're told there is going to be a meeting on Monday. Crews are going to be assessing conditions there, deciding whether or not they need to extend that warning for any tourists coming in. Be watching closely to see both what happens there and with this storm we're dealing with right now in Person County. In Person County, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Eric, thank you. It's that thunder we can hear kind of roaring in the background there. From Hyco Lake to Jordan Lake now, that's where we have WRAL's Willie Danley. Willie, we know that this area can be a bit of a problem spot. We do have crews out there. So do the people from the county monitoring the water levels there closely. What else do we know?
Well, Dan, I've been standing out here at Jordan Lake for a while now, and you may not be able to tell by the camera, but this lake is actually well above where it needs to be. Right now, this lake is 13 feet above the ideal level. I want you to take a look at this video that was sent to WRAL, and you can see the rushing water being released from the dam here at Jordan Lake. Due to the storm, the amount of water released from this lake has been cut by more than half by the Army Corps of Engineers. Typically, they release about 500 to 700 cubic feet of water per second, but right now only 200 cubic feet per water per second is being released. In addition to the high water levels, debris in this lake is an issue. After that tropical depression came through the area, it left behind a lot of trash, trees, and other things in this water, creating a potentially dangerous situation for boaters out here. I have spoken to the Chatham County Sheriff's Office, and they're advising people to stay away from the lake. Proceed with caution. Keep an eye on your weather app, because as the Chatham County Sheriff said, it can the conditions out here can change very quickly. We're going to continue to monitor this situation and keep you updated in Chatham County. Willie Danley, WRAL News.
And we know those conditions are going to be changing rapidly as the evening goes on. Residents in Durham, another area that got hit very hard, they're still trying to clean up there before this next round of storms moves in tonight. Monica Casey joining us live there from Rippling Stream Road. Monica, it was more like a roaring river than a stream earlier this week, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, Dan, that's right. We know that Eno River actually broke a record earlier this week for its highest crest, and it has left behind a mess. I mean, dust all over these streets, and these homes over here are full of mud. We have been in this neighborhood multiple times this week as people try to salvage some of what didn't get wet. Michael Davis tells me only the second floor of his townhome is habitable right now after they woke up to 3 feet of water in the early morning hours on Monday.
Hearing the possibility of more flooding tonight, what's your reaction to that?
Let's see what happens. See what happens. See what happens. That's the only thing I can, and pray. That's the only thing I can say.
Now, this set of townhomes backs right up to the river, and some residents have chosen to move out and move on. One woman here told me even though she is signing a new lease somewhere else in actually just the next few hours, she is hoping these floodwaters hold off so that she can get the rest of her belongings out of her old home. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Thank you, Monica. You see how discouraged that guy was. We'll see what happens. Man, they have been through a lot all throughout our area. You can stay on top of the weather tonight by using our newly redesigned WRAL weather app. It is free to download, but you have to remember to turn the notifications on and make sure that they are on for your area specifically. You can receive the latest updates right to your phone as this weather moves in. So you've seen the video and the pictures from Central Texas this week, the flooding and the devastation and the tragedy. Images like this all over the news and social media. Well, after the break, we're going to talk to one of the journalists behind the camera, a photojournalist who actually used to work right here at WRAL. We're going to get her perspective, and it just might change the way that you see this story. Kat?
And the radar is lighting up with severe thunderstorm warnings as well as flash flood warnings to our west. This is what is coming, and there's one area that I'm growing increasingly concerned about. I'll walk you through that coming up.
At least 160 people are still missing in Central Texas. 119 people have been confirmed dead. The flooding along the Guadalupe River devastated communities there in ways that are hard, honestly, to fully understand. There are rescue crews. They're working day and night to find those missing people, reunite them with their families. There are families who have lost absolutely everything. And interspersed among those groups are journalists, people working to show us exactly what is happening there hundreds of miles away. One of those journalists is Lauren DeSarmo. She used to work here as a photojournalist, right here at WRAL. Some pictures here that she sent us of her time when she was working in the Triangle. Lauren works now for the Weather Channel. She was sent to Kerrville and Hunt, Texas to cover this story. And earlier today, we decided, let's reach out, touch base with her and talk. So we spoke to Lauren about what she's seen over the last few days. What she had to say during our discussion was deeply moving, gave us a fresh perspective on a situation that is hard to fathom. Take us through what it's been like, how you ended up there in Kerrville, Texas. When did you get the call about this assignment? How long have you been there? Kind of walk us through what your past couple of days have been like.
I was with my baby. I just had a baby a few months ago, and we were excited to celebrate his first 4th of July. And I kind of started seeing some social media posts about what was going on, and we started getting emails, and that's when my ears perked up, and I went, oh, there's something going on in Texas right now. I'm going to start paying attention. This is something we might be responding to. I had no clue at the time what exactly we would be responding to, that it would be something of this magnitude, but I was deployed the next day.
Congratulations on the new baby. Has that put some perspective for you on just this deeper level of maybe what some of these families are experiencing?
%, yes. I've never experienced this type of an emotional response to an assignment in my entire 20 years of being a photojournalist. I'm not sure if it's from being a new mom myself or just the horrifying realities of what happened to those sweet little girls at the camp. We were at Camp Mystic on Monday of this week, across from their cabins, across the Guadalupe River, watching people pull out their foot lockers in pink and purple and yellow. And we all just fell silent in our crew and just watched. And I absolutely sat in my car, and I just had to take a minute.
And when you've been in a community for as many days as you have, during a tragedy like this, you become a kind of a familiar part of it to some of the other people who are the ones being impacted directly. And I'm wondering, some of the things that weren't caught on camera, some of the moments that have stuck with you that will only be really with you through your eyes that you don't think you'll forget.
Screaming. That's the thing we haven't really caught on camera is when our crew is there and we're between doing our live hits and you hear people screaming in sorrow, the sorrow that is just radiating from the people who are in this town and just enduring this horrible suffering. There's really no way to convey that unless you're there in person.
There have been these moments that I've seen, and we see this all the time with the strength of people in these types of moments. Tell us about some of the moments of strength that you have seen and of perseverance and of hope despite all of this tragedy.
I am really glad that you asked that question because that is one thing I would really like to come out of Hunt and Kerrville in my time here. Is the thing that I'm taking away the most is the absolute fortitude of these search and rescue crews. I am in awe of their absolute conviction, their absolute visceral dedication to a singular mission. I've never seen anything like it in my life. They're almost trying to take back this floodwater took something so special from these people, and they're like, no, we're going to take it back. We want what you took, and we want it back. And that's the mood here of hope that I'm at least taking for myself.
Well, we will let you get back to work or getting some rest or whatever it is you need right now. Thank you so much for taking some time. We miss you back here in the Raleigh area, but we're glad you're doing great work.
Thank you. I just want to say one more thing, and it is, like I said, I had a baby a couple of months ago, and I cannot wait to get home, and I'm going to hug him and hold him, and harder than I ever have in his short little life, and because I can, and there are so many people that can't do that ever again, and I think that it is important to have perspective when we're talking about things and blaming or not blaming or just looking at perspective. I think that at the heart of all of this are people who are suffering, and that suffering is going to affect them the rest of their lives. That is something I have really taken is appreciation for what I have to go home to, and I'm going to carry all of these little girls and everyone who's been affected. They're going to come home with me in my heart.
Thank you, Lauren. The pain and suffering in Texas is unimaginable for so many people, but there are people in our community who lost loved ones during this recent round of flooding. And here we are again with a storm moving through and more flash flood warnings to talk about, Kat.
And this just came in. I actually just got the notification on my Apple Watch from the WRAL weather app. A new flash flood warning has been issued, and this does include Alamance County, Orange County, and Person County. Some of the areas hit the worst by this weekend storms, and you can start to see this heavy rain moving in. Hyco Lake has seen torrential rain. Person County, more heavy rain is coming down, and this is going to be making its way to Orange County, Durham County. The Eno River will be at risk. Here's that flash flood warning. It just popped in on the box here. You can see it on the last frame here, and it extends down into Alamance County, including I-40. Here's what you need to do. Right now, charge your cell phone. Make sure you have your severe weather notifications turned on the WRAL weather app. Otherwise, you need to stay home, especially if you live in Alamance, Orange County, Durham County, Person County, Chatham, and more counties, the areas that were hit the hardest this past weekend. Your soil can't take any more water. We heard from the National Weather Service in the counties that got hit the hardest, it's instantaneous flooding there. It's like the runoff begins as soon as the rain arrives. So this is going to be a pretty dangerous situation, unfortunately, heading into tonight. And looking at our southern counties, Moore County, you've got torrential rain, a lot of thunder and lightning moving in. In addition to this, the yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. On top of the flood risk, there's the threat for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and we've seen trees down to our west. This is the concern here. It's only going to take anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of rain in less than 3 hours to lead to flash flooding conditions in our western counties. And it's looking like we will achieve those numbers. As you head toward Raleigh and our eastern counties, that number goes up closer to 2 to 4 inches. So the threat is a bit lower from Raleigh points east. And that's why Raleigh, Wake County, and east not included in the flood watch right now. Forecast rainfall amounts anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, but there could be some locally higher totals, up to 4, perhaps up to 5 inches, and that would just be in probably one spot. But just a heads up, the atmosphere has a lot of moisture that these storms can squeeze out of the clouds. 9 o'clock tonight, we're still going to be dealing with these storms, especially Person, Orange, Durham counties. They'll start to push to the east and make their way toward Raleigh. We could see some weakening as those storms move into Raleigh. Really, our eastern counties, Johnston, Wayne, Wilson, Sampson County, may not see as much action. We're really concerned about our western counties tonight, but there may still be some rain sticking around for the morning commute tomorrow. So make sure you check in on WRAL before you head out the door. Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. The flooding risk medium tomorrow as opposed to high today, and the severe weather threat still a level 2 threat tomorrow. Once we get to the weekend, more of your typical scattered summertime thunderstorms are in the forecast. An unsettled pattern this week, but today and tomorrow are the primary concerns. Meteorologist Mike Mays is gearing up to do live updates throughout the evening on WRAL News Plus. I'll be trading off with him there, so we're not going to leave you. Just turn it over to News Plus. You can stream it free on your phone, your app, or watch it on TV, and we'll keep you updated in between the newscast.
Thank you, Kat. Your One Last Thing is next, and another update from a town hit by flooding in our area. Our One Last Thing tonight comes from Brian Schrader in the Live Center. Brian.
Dan, a live look right now at Roxborough under a flash flood warning and a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And we've been tracking the problems in Orange County with the water situation, and specifically in the city of Mebane, where the water treatment plant still is offline, less than 2 days of drinking water left in the system. Bottled water distribution has started at the Mebane Arts Center. It's open for about another 30 minutes or so, and then it's going to be open tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Arts Center, also at Mebane Fire Station 2, and at Summit Church, they're going to have bottled water distribution from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. tomorrow.
All right, Brian, thank you. Remember, updates tonight as this weather moves through over on WRAL News Plus, and then we will have live reports for you back here at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and here on WRAL tonight at 11. We will see you then.